Hi everyone, welcome back to Prints and Paints by Marcy. It's been a while and I apologize I haven't made any videos. I've been sick and with the holidays I've been really busy. My throat hasn't been very kind to me, so making videos it's been pretty hard. But I'm back, I'm feeling better, and I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. As requested, I had a few people reach out to me and they wanted to know how to make the outer perimeter of the coneflower design that I had done. If you can remember the video I made, this is the coneflower design that I had done. And then I have this outer perimeter here. Sorry about the glare, it's a little hard to see it. Anyway, these are the designs right here that I will be showing you how to do today. I'm not going to do it in this circular pattern per se because I don't have my coneflower design here. I actually sold it, so it's a little hard for me to do it unless I redid the whole thing. So with saying that, I'm just going to quickly try to show you, if you're working with a 12-inch like I did with my tutorial, how you could go about painting that particular outer design. Okay, so that's what we're going to work with. If you can recall the colors that we had used in the past, it's going to be the same colors as the coneflower design. If you don't want to go back and look in the video, I will show them to you again. Okay, so basically we have these 7 colors that we're working with. We are using this Waverly brand. It's a chalk paint, but it's still an acrylic base, so it's okay to use. I'm using the color Scallion. I'm also using a color called Green Marsh. It's also like an evergreen color. This is from the brand Apple Barrel. By all means, if you have a different color that's similar, please use it. It's okay. You don't have to use all of these. This one is by Folk Art. It is metallic white pearl. This is also Apple Barrel. This is Sun-Kissed Peach. This color is actually Deco Art. I've been switching my paints over to these now. I think they work really great. I recommend getting them. This is Deco Art Metallic Copper. So if you have a metallic copper in a different brand, please use it, okay? This is also a metallic bronze in Deco Art. And then the last color is this brown, light brown, Territorial Beige. This was by the brand Apple Barrel. All right, so these are the colors that we'll be using. I've already thinned them out. You can either use water. I've heard a lot of people having the discussion that they don't like to use water. As long as you don't use a lot of water, I'm talking like a drop or two. You know, I know people, if you use too much water, your paints can crack, the dots can crack. So please be careful with that. If you don't feel comfortable, I would recommend using a like a medium to mix with it. You can find by the acrylic paints in the stores. I don't think I have any on hand right now to show you. I'll put a link in the description though if you need to find out what they are. I'm also using again my 4 little dotting tools with the ball tips on them. Nothing major, okay? And then I'm also using my DIY dotting tools. You can also use Mark's dotting tools. I believe his might be slightly off though in size. And then Happy Dotting Tools also has some brand. I don't know if they're close to these size. I like to use the DIY. Okay, so to start, we're gonna want to do these different patterns. So to show you again real quick, we're going to work on 3 different patterns today, and that will make up your dotting exterior part, your trim, I should say, to your coneflower. You're going to be doing this design, which is kind of similar. It's that same cascading dot, okay, right here, and then you're going to do this big teardrop with a bunch of swooshes at the bottom, and then you're also going to do this kind of fan-tailed out design as well, okay? Those are the 3 designs that we will be working on today. So to start, we're going to do this one, all right? And if you notice, this one falls on every edge of the cone itself, all right? So if you have your cones, I kind of penciled out real quick. I don't even know if you can see this on here. I penciled out to where I can imagine what my cones would look like. So if you can imagine, this is my cone here, and this is my cone here, okay? It's gonna fall somewhere in the center of that, right around this area. And same with this one, right in this area, all right? And then, so we'll start that, all right? The first color we're going to use is the same order as we did with our coneflowers, so we're going to use our metallic pearl white. And because we're working at a smaller scale, we really don't want to use extremely large sizes for our mandala tools. So I think the biggest size that we're going to use for the center is probably a size 8. All right, so we're just gonna, and I'm gonna eyeball this. I'm not measuring anything. What I really want to focus on for my first part of this is looking at my cone. Look at your cone and find where your center was that you left off with. And then realistically find out how much space you have as well to the edge of your circle, okay? If it's not much, I recommend maybe going down to a size 6 for your center dot. Your center dot is really just going to be that small circle one, okay? So, like I said, I'm imagining this is how much space I have. So, I'm just gonna put my finger there and imagine, okay, well that's the size I have, so there's my center. Okay. You don't feel comfortable with this and you'd rather measure, by all means, please do so. So that was number 8 dotting tool. And that's just your center. So to resort back to our template, what we have here, where we just did this right here. Okay. We're going to do that, and then we're going to do our copper. Because we have a small space as well, and I know most of you might have a smaller space, maybe we'll do 1 or 2 rows instead of 3 for our dots that come around, okay? If you notice, I mean, this scale I did was about a 22-inch mandala, so it's very large. So I did these in a much larger scale, and that's something that you just need to work on when you're planning out your design, is that you need to figure out, okay, well, you know, how much space do I really have? I need to find out where the center is and how much I'm going to have, you know? It's about pre-planning, I should say. So we have our center dot. Now, this one I said has 3 rows because I had such a nice, I mean, I'm looking at probably about 4 inches there. I'm only working with probably about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 at this little spot. So I might just do 1 color or maybe 2, depending on the size of my dots. I personally think because this is really small, I am going to go with the largest dotting tool would probably be a 4. I'm going to do, the next color is copper. So I'm just going to put my number 4 in copper, and I'm going to dot it down the center from my white dot. on either side. Okay. I think I'm going to do 2 rows of these. Let's see how 2 looks. I usually like to do the center before I start cascading out, only so I can see exactly what I'm working with. I think 2 is ideal because we still have some other colors to do. All right. So the next one, we're going to stick with 4. Always stick with the same size going through, and then as we start to get to the edge, we'll go up in a size. All right. So for these 2, we're going to do that, and then we're going to do 1 row of the green, the Scallion Green. Just like that. Okay. Then we're going to do, I think we're going to do 1 row cream as well. Okay. Maybe we'll do 2, I'm not sure. Because we're already starting to run out of room, if you notice that. We'll do a few more. We have some room still to work with. So well, now at this point you can use the Territorial Beige. Okay. Now because I'm getting into my last 2 colors, I'm going to go up in size. So I'm going to do a size 5. I'm going to do the dark green, the Marsh Green. Okay. And we're going to finish it with our bronze. Okay. Just like that. That looks great. Now, remember, we want this like negative space to fan out. Let's see on here. You have this, I don't know if I can get in closer. You have this negative space here. So when you're cascading your dots, I mean, let's see, this one only has 2 dots on either side. And then as it starts to grow, you get more so that you have this curve. Even if you wanted to do something like this, which I think might be ideal, do a swoop like that. Do like as if you're drawing like a half circle, like a crescent moon. I would do something like that. And so now you have your guidelines as to knowing, okay, well, like even do it like this, see? Now you don't have to go completely to that line because I'm just sketching it out. But it's kind of like an hourglass shape if you look at it. It's like an hourglass. So, and then this will help so that you know, okay, I can fit probably 2 dots on this first one and maybe 3 to here, and then we'll do 4 and so on, and you keep going out, okay? These small ones down at the bottom, because we're only doing 2, I'm going to use this small size 2 dotting tool, okay? And I'm going to use the copper, and I'm just going to dot in the corner here, more centered, like right here, right? 1, 2, just like that, okay? And then the other one, okay? And it's just going to go up to where that line met my other ones, okay? And then on the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to dot in the center of this big dot, so right here. like that. All right, and you're just doing 2. Just like that. Now, I'm going to stay with this size for now. I'm going to do the copper again, because I did 2 rows of copper. So 1, now I'm going to do 3. See, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to try to zoom in on this so you can see a little better. Is that better? See? So we did 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then again on this side, we're going to do the 3. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, just like that. This is very simple. It's just a matter of prepping it prior so that you can get that nice design element out of it. I think by drawing this out will help you a great deal. It keeps you in line. All right. So the next one we're going to go up from that. So the color up from the yellow one is the number 2. So we're going to do this one. It's now like a 3 or 4. Okay. And we're going to do the scallion with that. And again, center. And we're able to get 4 dots out of that one. All right. Now remember to try to stay curved. This one I did a little too straight, but I'm going to leave it. This one looks a little bit more ideal. It's a little curved, if you see what I'm talking about. This one again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to clean this off. My dotting tool got a little goopy there. Okay. So one thing I don't like about chalk paint is that it starts to settle a lot once you start using it. Once you mix it, it starts to really... Ugh. Alright, so there's... Okay, we're going to stay with... Sorry, I just need to get a paper towel. Clean off my dotting tool. Okay. Our next one is the Sun-Kissed Peach. Okay, same tool. And now we're gonna dot down like that. This one we're only gonna get 4 out of, but that's okay. 2, 3, 4. That's because we're working with a bigger tool. If you notice some paints as well, they tend to be a little bit more loose than others. That chalk paint was a little bit goopy. It was a little too thick for my taste. But it still works, so we're gonna keep going. The Territorial Beige. Okay. I think maybe I have to mix them too. Let's see. There we go. So again, you're going to do the center and start cascading down until you get to your line. That's really it. I mean, if you find that you get an extra dot somewhere, like I should probably have a little extra dot right there on that one, that's great. As long as you're getting to that line, stop at that line that you drew, all right? Because that's really what's going to help you create this design. Just like that. Okay. Good. Put this aside. And then our last color. Now, because that we went up in that size too, I'm going to move up in a size. So I'm going to use this one, which is the largest that I have. And I don't know, I'd say this is probably about a size 4. Maybe it's a size 5, actually. I think it's a size 5. I don't want it too large because then I won't have nice. Yeah, this is fine. I feel like it's creating more smaller ones than. There we go. That's better. Just have to get enough paint on there. Perfect. See? Okay. So you can see our design is actually starting to take shape now, which is great. It looks beautiful. And this is the last one. This is our bronze. I'm sticking with the same size. It's like a 4-5. All right, and that's it. Okay, so that's our first design. And obviously, once this is dry, you can go back through and erase your colors. So that's our first design. And then the second one will fall in between. So if you can imagine, here's my one cone, right? Like there. Let's zoom out a little bit, sorry. There we go. Okay. So if you can imagine, like, this is my one cone, right? And then I have this design next to it. And then another cone will be on this line, because you're going to have 8 of them, right? 8 cones. And then you have that nice thin piece in between of them, right? So we're going to do this wacky design in between that and that, okay? So for this one, we're gonna do, our number 8 again, because I like that size dot for this. This I think is ideal. Okay, so we're gonna use it, and then we're going to, so we're working right here now. Okay, we're working in between the cones. If you have more space, that's great. Okay, I'm just working in between what I have, which is rather small. So eyeball your spacing. So if you have more space, if this cone is like way over here, obviously put this guy right in between them. Okay, so if you want to do these first, I would probably recommend doing those first. So do them on either cone all the way around these. And then once you're finished, go back, find your other center between the two of them. All right, that's the best way to do it. Sometimes you'll be off with your cone too. So, you know, if you want to base it on that and you're not like fully parallel with these, then this could be really far over and too close to the other one. So I would not worry about the cone when you're doing these in particular, because, you know, obviously line them up with your cone. But then once you're done with that, don't look at the cone. Look at what you have here. And then find your center there, okay? Because sometimes they can be closer and not, you know, hopefully not. Hopefully we get it right. But these are the things that frustrate people, I think, and you know, make them have to go back and redo it all. If you measure prior, and when you're doing your cone, like if you measured those 8 points, usually you'll have a nice amount of spacing and you'll have it all perfect. It'll all be equal. I have in the past, though, myself, you know, measured wrong and things didn't come out the way I wanted, and you just have to learn how to start over and, you know, work with your mistakes. Okay, so here's my design. So I'm going to start with that white circle. Oop, white circle there. All right. Now this one's going to be a little bit further down. I think we're going to be around the same. I'd say actually we're gonna keep that cohesive. So we're gonna do right here. I like to sometimes, keep one particular part of the design elements the same. This way they follow each other. So these I'm actually keeping at the same line all the way around. All right, so that was number 8 with metallic pearl white. Now we're going to do our copper and our cream color, our sun-kissed peach. We're going to probably use our smallest. This is our size 1, I think. We're going to use copper first. And we're just going to make a little row of dots around this white circle. So let's go zoom it back in as far as we can here. I hope you can see that. And we're going to dot one on the top, one on the bottom. We're going to dot on the side, the other side. So you got your 4 points, north, south, east, west. This is the easiest way to do circles sometimes, to where they're even. You're going to go in between each of them. Just like that. And then you're going to go in between each of those again. This is the smallest dotting tool I have. So like I said, this is probably about a size 1. You want minimum amount of paint, just enough. You don't want to glop this on. If you do have a big glop, lightly touch that dot and then move to another one. You don't want to push it all down and then you get a big glop of it. So that's our circle. With our same dotting tool, now we're going to really get in there. We're going to go in and move it around, stir it up, get enough. And from the center of this, which is kind of like this line right here, you want to dot. We're going to start with west. And we're going to just pull in. So we're going to dot and pull in like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Dot it and pull it in. Just like that. Okay. Now, this is going to result in me cleaning my dotting tool a lot. So I'm going to have to clean it off every time I do this. Now we're going to do our sun-kissed peach. And again, we're going to dot right next to that one and pull in towards the center. You might have to start finding yourself going at an angle doing this to create that little horseshoe effect, okay? And we're going to go back to okay. Now, instead of stopping this and pre-recording it again, I want to show you how I mess up and how I fix it too. I think it's only fair to do it because you guys mess up too, right? So So I wanted to show you quickly. I made a mistake and I want to show you how I'm fixing it. I don't want to have to stop the camera just to fix it and then go back through it. I'm not perfect either and I make mistakes. So what I would recommend with this is instead of doing copper and copper on either side, start with one side and go around, okay? Only because what happened with me is that I had 2 coppers going on and not enough space for my peach in between them, which is a bummer, but I will figure it out. And I think it's only fair that I show you how I fix my issues, because we all make mistakes. So that's the best I think I'm going to get for now. What I'm going to probably do is I'm going to get a little bit of black paint. So let's try that out. This is the paint I use for my base. So this is Apple Barrel's matte black. All right, I use a big thing of this because I use so much of it. I always like using my black backgrounds. I use a tiny little brush, very small, and we're going to, honestly, we're just going to paint like this. So this is how I fix my mistakes. I fan it out so it's not so gloppy at the edges. More dominant where I need it. And then as you start to brush out, like I said, this was a tiny little bit from the cap. Not a lot. You don't want a lot. You just want enough. And then you fan out that so you make a nice thin coating. Use the side of the brush. You're not going to really need those lines anyway, so don't worry about them if you're painting over them. Alright. We'll let that dry. So that's how I fix my mistakes. I like to fix them as I go. I don't like to go back through because there are a lot of times when you do this and you do your mandala that it becomes so busy that you overlook these until you put your varnish on and then you say, oh my gosh, I missed it. Okay, I'm just cleaning off my brush. Alright, put that aside. Now we can get back to what we were doing. So, like I suggested, don't do either side first. Don't do copper and try to meet in the middle, because that's what happens. You run out of room. Alright? Start from one side and go around. Try to keep these together, so don't make one longer than the other and don't make one shorter than the other. Try to keep them as if it's like a half circle. Even if you have to draw a circle so you can follow where that edge will stop and go up, okay? That might be more suitable to do something like that. In the meantime, while that's drying, I can work on this part if we want to do that. I don't want to get black paint in my other colors. So because we're working on this real time, let's let that go for now and we'll come back to it, okay? We're going to use our Marsh Green color for now. All right, and this one we're going to do, I think we're going to do a little bit of a larger color. I think we're going to, or a larger dotting tool. We're going to do number 7 with the green. All right. And what you want to do is you're going to dot fairly far away. I'd say about maybe 3/4 of an inch away from your large dot here. Okay. So I would say, yeah, I would say about 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to dot like this. And then we're going to do one large dot up here. Make sure you get enough in that dot, because what you're gonna want to do now is get a smaller stylus and start pulling down on one side and then the other. You want to pull that down all the way until you get to your center dot, all right? And then you're going to do 2 on either side. So you're staggering them, so you're going to go at an angle here, all right? So one is down one. If you want to put this first one like I did on the top line, and then this one rests on the bottom of this, the top of this line, like that, and then these swooshes will come in. They look like tadpoles almost, don't they? Strange. And then the other one will be the same thing on the other side. I like to use these lines, these grid lines, for a lot of things, and I think it's like super helpful. It keeps your dots in line, you know, so that they're not falling in different directions. So I like to really utilize these lines that I made. A lot of people don't like having all those lines there, and they find it's a pain to erase them. But, you know, especially like me, I kind of don't go in with a plan. I just start dotting things. I know a lot of people like to prepare their ideas first. There are things that I like to work on, and I do get some rough ideas on things, but most of the time I do things free-handed. I don't really go in and sketch anything, unless it's like a picture I drew. My latest one was the mushrooms I did, and that was a picture I had drawn up. So the green's done. We just want to pull this one. I just don't want to put my hand in the paint. Alright, just like that. Beautiful. That one got a little thick, but that's okay. Alright, so that's got to dry as well. And then what we're going to do is go back over the top of these. Since we did a size 7, we're going to do a size 6. Or a 5. Size 6, I think. And then we're going to dot Sunkissed Peach on each of the edges like that. To look like that. Okay. This top one looks like it's a little bit larger, so, or around the same size as the 7. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do that right now while we have our dotting tool in our hand. Our size 7, we're going to use our Scallion color, green, and we're just going to do one dot at the top of the largest green one. Just like that. Alright. I think I need to retire this chalk paint. It's very goopy. Yeah. Alright, this is almost dry. It's getting there. It's getting there. Let's take our brush and move some of that a little bit more out of the way, because it got a little bit of a... There we go. It's a little bit of a glop there with the black paint. So see, do you see how well it covered it up? You don't even see the mistake that you did. I think those are the best ways to try to get off as much as you can with a Q-tip and some water. And then just go back over it with your black. Really. Nobody will even notice. Alright, so we're going to go back to the next color we're doing with this, with the number 1. We're going to do our peach. I'm just going to dot again. And then we're going to pull in like that. Okay. Back to copper. And these want to be fairly close. they don't want to be on top of each other, but you do want to have them fairly close together to create that little fantail. And then, so this one is going to be the last sun kiss, because I'm trying to find my line here of where my copper rests. So this will be the last sun kiss, and then we're going to do one more copper. Just like that. Good. So there's our fantail. I probably would have went back and fixed that one a little bit, but just because I'm showing you and I'm doing this rather quickly, I'm going to leave it. You get the idea of what you need to do as far as the fantail goes. All right, so now that we've got this, we'll wait for this to dry, and then we'll go back over with our size 6, and we'll dot our Sunkissed Peach there. And then the rest of it is what's left is now we're gonna do our Pearl White, Marsh Green, and Scallion again down here. And you're just going to dot with the largest dotting in the center and cascade off into those sizes. We want to end at the edge of these coppers. So we're going to dot in the center and then move down. All right, we have 3 colors to do. Because we have such a small scale we're working with, I would probably say that maybe a size 6 would be ideal for the center. All right, so we're going to do those first. So we're going to do our Pearl White and dot the center, just like that. And then we'll do green, Marsh Green, the darker one. And then we'll do our Scallion. My favorite paint that's not working well with me today. Okay, just like that. Perfect. Now we're going to cascade down. Because we have such a smaller size, I think we can get away with using our blue tool with this. Normally I would do, if it was a size 6, I would do a size 5 next to it. And then from there I would go down even with a 4, 3, etc. I think we can get away with using this though for, let's see, I'll just try it first. Let's see if it works. Let's get enough paint on your metallic pearl white, and I think so. See, it's pretty close in the next size down. I think so for sure. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, that worked out really well. So you can use this. This is also, like I said, equivalent to size 4 dotting tool. We're going to do the same. Okay. There you go. Now we're going to do our green. I also had someone recommend to me that they wanted me to do the Tree of Life, do a tutorial on that. I will definitely be in the works with that one. I think that will be my next video. So keep a look out for the Tree of Life tutorial. I've been trying to do things too with my Cricut. I don't know if anybody is familiar with using Cricuts. I got one for Christmas, so I've been really trying to use my hand at cutting some balsam wood and making like 3D images with my mandalas. So there's layers, doing the Scallion color now. So I have layers on my mandalas. It's still working. It's still hard to figure that thing out. Okay, so that's that. All right. That looks great. See? So those are the two designs that we're doing. And then the last one that we can do now is these teardrops. So these I did put in between all of my my designs. I put them in between. Obviously, like I said, I'm using a much smaller scale, so there's no way that I'm going to be able to fit that in between there, but I still will show you what it looks like. I'll do it on this side. Just factor that in when you're doing your designs. Now, because these are so large, we're probably going to do a size 10 dotting tool. I think so, yeah. And we're going to basically, you're going to dot as close as you can towards your coneflower. So I'm going to do right on the line. And you want a lot of paint. Okay, so I basically just dot it, dot, 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 like over and over again until all that comes off. So you got a nice amount of paint there. And I'm just going to take my number 2 dotting tool and pull probably to about the center. Pull from the other side as well. And then this side. Just like that. And that's all you need to do for those large teardrops. And then I put them in between each of them. So I usually do these last. If you try to do like going in a circle, so you do this and then you do this and then you did this one and then you do go back to that one, the chances of you having it even, like you might come down here and realize, oh no, I'm short a design, you know. That's why I don't do it like that. I don't really like to go around and work that way because, you know, without any planning. The only planning I think you need to do is understand that, you know, these are going to fall where your cones are. And this way you know that you're always going to have that same, you know, it's all going to be cohesive. In the past, when I first started painting, I would do things like that. I would make this design, and then I would add this one next to it, and then I would do this one next to that, and then I would go back, and I would keep going all the way around, painting and painting, and then like I would get to here and realize, like my next design is supposed to be one of these, but I already have one here, like, so now I can't fit this one here. You see what I'm saying? So, and then it just throws the whole thing off because you didn't have enough room. So when you're doing things, you always factor in, you know, if you have a design that has points to it and you have these things coming out, these cones, you know that, okay, something should be on the outside of these. So you're going to have 8 of these. And then you're going to have these in between, which will also be 8. And then these should be able to fall in between there. If you can't fit them, then don't use them. But, so that's how I kind of ballpark. I hope that helps people understand when you're trying to plan these things out. And if you fall into those problems, that's very normal. And when you're starting out, that's very easy to do, is to, you know, just start going with it and painting and then not realizing like, oh no, I don't have enough room. Happens a lot. So that's the one thing I can say is when working with geometry, working with designs is, you know, understand your design. Understand that you have elements that need to be mirrored. And so when you're doing a design like this, outside of it, you want to have something that's there with it. And then have something in between that. If you start putting all jumbled things, it might not look good. It might not look uniformed. I don't know. It's up to you. I think that's the way I feel as an artist and the way I perceive things. So, all right, the last thing we're going to do here is our swooshes. So we're going to do 3. This one, because it's smaller in scale than that, and we used a 10 for that. So I'd say we're going to do probably like a size 7. Territorial Beige. And we're going to go down so that it meets the edge of these. Alright, so that I know I don't have a line here, but I'm just going to imagine it. So I'm going to dot. And I'm going to dot to mirror this dot. So this is going to be my center here. Alright. I don't want to put the dot over here or over here, or, you know, I want to put it right underneath where that's going to fall. Because the next step, what I'm going to do is take my smallest stylus and I'm going to pull up the center to meet this center, just like that. Then I'll pull up the sides to make that teardrop effect. Okay. And then I'm going to do one on this side of it. So again, you're just doing that little staggered. Make sure they have equal spacing. So here and here. And then swoop it up. What I do is I usually pull the bottom like that. It almost makes like a treble clef. And then you want to push this towards that and then go up like that. Same thing here. Start at the bottom and swoop up. And just keep pulling till you have enough paint. Just like that. Alright. And then once these are dry, I'm going to go over them with the Sun-Kissed Peach again. And just make another one. So what I will do is probably use a size 5. If I used a 7, I want to go down 2. Alright, just to make that smaller difference in the size of the inner part. I think a 6 would be a little bit too much and you won't see any of the brown. So once that dries, yes, since it was 7, so if you have a 9, you're going to go down to a 7. If you're going to have, you know, go down 2 steps. So this will be 5 with Sun-Kissed Peach. And you'll just dot the center and then again pull up. Alright. And then these as well. These are also getting, I think I did these a 7 as well. So we'll probably be able to just dot these. So we're going to do size 5. And these are just getting a dot. Yep, just like that. Size 5 works perfect. This way you still have that ring on the outside there. You're not completely covering up the green all the way around. Still a little wet, but that's okay. And then once that one's dry, you can do the swooshes, alright? But, I mean, there you go. Those are the designs. So, like I said, I hope that you're able to work it out and be able to do them all the way around, like it is in this image. The only thing, like I keep reminding you, is to just make sure that, you know, your coneflower is your main design, and anything outside of that is going to replicate that. So this cone here is going to have this, And then this will line up with the center line. And then again, you're going to have that same design at the end of the cone. And then these are not going to line up with anything. They're just going to be a filler. That's what I call them, fillers. Because, you know, if you didn't have that, it might look a little too bland, like you're missing something. So that's my filler, is the teardrop with the swooshes. The main designs are these two elements. So I wish you good luck with this. I hope it works out really, really well for you. If you have any questions or are having trouble with your sizing, please reach out to me, message me, leave me a comment, and I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. But I do hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing everybody's work. Take care. Happy dotting.